The mighty Honda Transalp 750. What a beautiful looking machine. It's not mine, guys, unfortunately. I am just borrowing this one for the day to install these crash bars on it, which I've already done. We'll get to the actual installation very soon, but straight off the bat, I want to mention a couple of things that you should probably know about the crash bars. Apart from the fact that they are really well built, SRC stuff is always, in my experience, really well made. They look good. They protect the bike. That's what they're designed to do, and they do it very well. If you've seen the crash bars on my T7, man, they've taken an absolute beating, and they haven't moved. They've just been perfect. This gear, like all SRC stuff, comes really well packaged. There's zip ties, there's tape, there's foam. It's very well packed, and as Tony from SRC says, they've never had a set of crash bars arrive to a customer scratched or anything like that. Now, you definitely don't need any special tools to install these guys. I'll show you what you do need shortly. Really quite an easy job. One good thing about these crash bars, as with a lot of SRC stuff, is they come with a mounting plate which bolts up to the frame of the bike. So if you need to remove the crash bars for whatever reason, you only have to unbolt them from that plate. You don't have to remove any engine mounts or frame mounts or anything like that. It's quite easy to whip them off, and that plate, that mounting plate, once it's on there, just stays there. They also do have a really bulletproof coating on them, these black ones. They look really slick. I think they look quite good on this bike. But yeah, I'll just give you guys a bit of an overview of how they look, so you can decide whether or not these are the crash bars for you before we get into the installation of them. There you go, guys. Right, let's get back to the workshop and install these bad boys. I love being future me. Job's already done. Okay, so this is how I've got all the bolts organised. It's really not that complicated once you figure out what goes where. But yeah, these plates are probably the main thing. You've got 3 different size bolts in there. These are the tools I use to do the job. We have a 12mm both socket and spanner, or wrench, whatever you want to call it. Also got a 14 socket and spanner. We have 4, 5, 6 and 8mm Allen keys and T-bars if you got them. We have a Phillips head screwdriver and of course some ratchets to drive the sockets and stuff, and some thread lock. The first thing we're going to do is get the side panels off the mighty Transalp, so we'll start with that. Basically got 3 5mm Allen key bolts to remove here, one up here, one down here. Just be aware that they are 3 different bolts, of course. Thanks, Honda. The long one goes at the bottom. The one with the little spacer flange thing there goes at the front, and the short one goes at the back of the tank. There are also a couple of these little pop things, push-in rivets, I don't know what you call them, but anyway, pop those out. There's one there, one up further. Once you push the centers in, basically just pop them out, like so. Alright, so the fairing has a number of these things that push into rubber. I wish I knew the technical term for all this stuff, guys, but yeah, they're like pins that go into these rubber things that hold this on. Anyway, we'll go ahead and do the other side exactly the same. Oh. Okay, so we're going to do the right hand side of the bike first, guys. We're going to install the mounting plate. Pretty simple concept. We'll just remove these 2 bolts and then bolt the plate on with these 2. So we'll need our 14mm socket to get these 2 bolts out. Yeah, there are nuts on the back of these bolts, guys. No washers on the back that I could see. So we can put these stock bolts aside, put them in your box of spare parts. Okay, once the stock bolts are out, we're going to grab 2 of our M8 by 75 bolts and a couple of M8 washers. Alright guys, so I've got the plate on here. After a little bit of head scratching trying to figure out which side this clutch cable is meant to go on, because it's right in line with the mounting plate. I think the only thing we can do is loosen this off and just sort of bend this in, so like you can realign that clutch cable in further, and then once we tighten this up, hopefully it'll stay there out the way. Yeah, it should be good. Hopefully it's not made the clutch any tighter. No, seems fine. Okay, so that's good. Now we can go ahead and put the nuts, the M8 nuts on the back of these two bolts. I'm going to throw a little bit of thread lock in there just to be safe. It's a little bit fiddly getting the nuts on those bolts, guys, if you don't have tiny little hands. Now you need a 14mm spanner on the back on those nuts and an 8mm Allen key on the front here to tighten these up. Alrighty, torque those up good. Okay, now exactly the same process on the other side, except on the other side we don't have this clutch cable and all these other cables to get in the way, so it should be a bit easier. We're looking at the front of the bike now, guys. Of course, up underneath the headlight we need to install this front bracket here. So we're going to need to remove these two bolts with nuts here. Okay, so we just need a 12mm spanner and 12mm socket to crack these two. We can add these two to our box of spares as well. It looks like that whole headlight assembly is going to sag a little bit, so we may need to lift it a tiny bit to get the bolts through here. Now we want our M6 by 45, slap an M6 washer on there and a nut for the back. Put a little bit of thread lock on these as well. Alright, one in, no problem. And that on. I realise it's probably a little bit difficult to see what's going on here, but pretty straightforward. You've got two bolts up in here that we've removed, and put the bracket on and put the new bolts in. Easy peasy. Alright, now we just take our 6mm Allen key and a 12mm spanner and tighten these guys up. Okay, so I'm going to take the right hand top crash bar, and obviously that's going to go over that when that screw comes out, and then simply bolt onto our side bracket here. So I'll just loosely attach it here first. So obviously, you know, we'll take those bolts out and thread lock them after. Okay, so two of our M6 by 20 and a couple of M6 washers, of course. Okay, so not difficult at all to get those lined up. Again, I'm just going to leave these fairly loose for now. Okay, so that's one crash bar on. We're going to do exactly the same again on the other side, of course. Yeah, it's a 6mm Allen key for these. So you can probably go ahead and tighten all this up now before you install the rest of it, the lower crash bars and stuff, but I'm just going to leave everything loose just in case. Alright guys, these lower crash bars should be a very simple install as well. We just got a bolt that goes on just in front of the kickstand there, and then this part up here of course bolts on to our bracket, and then we've got a cross piece there with a another bit of dowel that goes inside it and then joins up to the other side. So yeah, we'll go ahead and bolt these on loosely. Okay, we've got our M6 by 25 bolts with nuts and washers. Okay, just going to leave that one loose. Alright, now we take our thread locked M8 by 35, I think these ones are. No washer required for these, just an 8mm Allen key. And we're going to go through the tube here and hopefully straight into our bracket. Again, we'll leave that with a little bit of play. And of course, we're going to do the same on the other side. The only difference this time is we need to remember our bit of our joiner dowel thing, which will pop in here. So yeah, we just need to fit the other crash bar over that. Alright, so I'm just fitting this one up and I'm going to put the bolt in down by the foot peg. Okay, so that one there's in loosely, guys. And we just pop the big M8 bolt in. Hopefully we can get this lined up. Looks good. Careful not to cross thread it. Perfect. Alright. So that is pretty much the crash bars fitted up. We'll just pop the small M5 bolt into this front dowel here. Actually, I'll go ahead and thread lock both of these first. Right, a 4mm Allen key to nip these up. You just want to make sure that they're pressed together. I'll thread lock and tighten up all these ones at the front as well while I've got the 4mm out. Right, I'm sure I don't need to show you guys tightening all these fasteners. We're going to tighten up those ones, of course, and there's the two for the top crash bars there, and then the one in here for the lower. All we've got left to do now is the bash plate, which is very simple. Okay, I have pre-thread locked the bash plate bolts, guys. They're the only countersunk ones, and of course we need the countersunk washers with it, and hopefully this will be a piece of cake. Alright, tighten all those up. Alright, that's the crash bars, upper and lower, and the bash plate all installed. I just thought I'd show you guys what it looks like before I put the fairing back on. So yeah, definitely very solid protection all up the side of the bike there. I wanted to do this job with the fairings off so that you guys could see it a bit easier, but guys, I recommend if you're doing this job yourself at home, take the fairings off, put the mounting plates on, then put the fairings back on, and you can finish the job with the fairings on, because they are a little bit of a pain to get in with the crash bars on. It is doable, but just to make it easier on yourself. Yeah, now we'll put these little pins back in. You want to pop them out and then put it in and then push it in. Pretty easy. And don't forget, Honda, in all their wisdom, have given us 3 different sized bolts for the one fairing. Okay, that's done. Same on the other side. There's a couple of things to go, guys. There's these plugs here that are supplied. I think they're supposed to go in, plug that up. I don't know, I don't want to whack them in there. I'll let Lee decide whether he wants to put those in there. And as with a lot of SRC crash bars, we've also got these sacrificial sliders which we can attach to the bars however we want. So I'll quickly whack those on. Probably down there would be the go. Well, there you have it, guys. Hopefully this installation video has helped some of you guys out. It's really quite easy. I know it is always good to have a video reference though, to just see what little hang-ups there might be. So yeah, the only real little hang-up was of course this clutch, which I mentioned. Once you rotate that in the mount there, it clears quite easily around the back of that plate there, so no dramas with that. Works really well. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up here, guys. Thanks Lee for letting me install these on your bike. I don't know why. He should be thanking me. What's going on here? But anyway, I hope you enjoy the crash bars, mate. They look good. They should protect the bike really well. And of course, make sure you check out SRC Adventure Moto, guys. There will be a link in the description if you are keen on these crash bars or crash bars for your T7 or whatever. They are really good. Anyway, catch you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Cheers.